you still last. So if you want that glow, you better relax.
Okay then, guys. Just a couple of minutes to we kick off with the Sweets squad workout. We are, of course, live streaming this session, but feel free to, for our squad guys, feel free to interrupt at any point and ask any questions. It's these sessions are always better when they're interactive. So please do feel free to get involved. Your voice won't appear in the live stream, so don't worry about that, okay? So 1 minute to go. I'll walk you through the session. I've got so many screens open at the moment, it's hard to know what I'm doing. Okay. So 30 seconds. Starting off in erg mode. This is very much an erg mode session, guys. Okay, and in the chat, I'm gonna be divulging my top turbo tips for you tonight. Okay, which is what I'm fiddling around with at the moment, just trying to get my notes open. So here we go then. Have a good session, guys. Get their legs spinning up. Here we go. So, as I say, starting off with erg mode on. Let's see. So tonight's session, what have we got? We have got some VO2 max microbursts, but we start off with a nice gentle 10-minute warm-up. Every 2 minutes, just increasing the power by about 6%, working up towards the top end of zone 2, so around 72% of FTP. Then we've got some fast pedaling efforts and spin ups, 10 seconds on, 10 seconds off. The power for that is at FTP, 100% of FTP. Just to wake the legs up, but the real emphasis there is going to be on hitting a really nice high cadence. We'll then drop into a tempo set for 3 minutes, just keeping us warm before we go into the first VO2 microburst set. So the session is split into two, basically. The first 2 rounds are 20 seconds on, 40 seconds off, and the 20 seconds on is going to be tough. It's at 135% of FTP, so really creeping into anaerobic there. Okay, so 2 rounds of that with about 4 minutes of recovery in between, and then the second 2 sets, they're much more VO2 maxy, but they're a little bit longer, so it'll be 40 on, 20 off. So that's the second 2 rounds. So a relatively straightforward session, but only in the sense that the actual workout plan is relatively simple. It's a tough one. Okay, so you're gonna have to stay focused, keep your cadence high throughout. Okay, I've got a lot of tips to divulge, lots of sort of indoor training advice which I'm going to be divulging over the course of this session. So, and that's why I've got my glasses on so I can see all the notes. But let's just start off with the environment, shall we? Probably a bit too late to do anything about it now, but when it comes to indoor training, you have to really consider the environment that you're working with, because it makes a huge difference if you do. So typically going to be hot, humid, with kind of little air circulating. And yes, a fan is great, but it will kind of just cool down your skin a little bit, help sweat be lifted off your skin and help you dissipate heat that way, which is great, but it won't be as effective at keeping your core temperature down as ventilation would be. Okay, so first top tip is to get the windows open. So we're only in the warm up now, so if you haven't got the windows open, I know it's flipping freezing if you're in the UK at the moment, but get the windows open, guys. Okay, you need cold air coming in, and you need the fetid, humid air being pushed out the room. It's actually a pretty serious point. I've said it a few times, but I've actually fainted doing virtual races and stuff before. I've had windows open, but even so, it was when I was in an old flat and had those like safety locks on them, so you could only open the window by the crack. So yeah, not much I could do, but it was just a very obviously example of what can happen if you don't have proper ventilation. If you don't have any windows in your room, I suggest it's not the right room to be training in. If you go in like a gym or something with the AC on, fine, but just bear in mind that AC is kind of super cold air, it's not fresh air, and it's just pushing all the bugs around the room basically. And then just one thing on environment, and I violated this rule already. I'd really advise wearing a base layer. It's really tempting to go shirtless. For some people it might be. But a base layer is really great for just moving sweat off your skin. And it's that physical movement of the sweat off your skin. It's that which kind of removes the heat from your body. So a base layer can be a really useful piece of kit. So I'm not wearing a base layer, I'm wearing a jersey to look all snazzy for the stream. Snazzy. And I'm roasting. Even though it's freezing. So just a couple of points on your environment, and to take that seriously. Speaking of which, it's time for the fan now, I think. Okay, okay. If you don't have a fan, then that is also a big thing to sort out. And it kind of just leads me on to your trainer setup, your room setup more generally, as we now come up to around 68% of FTP. I think I somehow turned the session up for myself. Don't need that when I'm talking away. The chances are, spending time on a turbo trainer, particularly for our athletes, you guys are on the Discord now, you guys will be spending a lot of time on an indoor trainer, particularly if you live in London, because there are a few safe spaces to train properly. Obviously Regent's Park, but yeah, arguments to whether that's very safe these days. I've spent a lot of time around Regent's back in the day. Yeah, it's something you're going to be doing a lot of. So in my opinion, it's something worth investing in. I don't necessarily mean money. I mean time. I mean just getting things right. If you've got to pack away your bike and your trainer, etc. Having an easy way to do that, having a process in place, and optimizing kind of your setup. So, you know, I've got like a little. I'm working off a PC, and I've got a little table here with a gel, my mouse, my notes, water in my bottle cage. It's really worth, I think, just spending time to make just make sure your setup runs smoothly, because we've all had it where, you know, we've done everything in a rush and something hasn't worked. So for instance, tonight I've had to swap onto some old headphones which are barely staying in my ears because for whatever reason my normal headphones just don't want to connect. Changed nothing, checked on my setup this afternoon, yeah, not working for some reason. So yeah, really suggest investing in time in your setup, and I've got a few points to follow on from that, but we're now to the final step of the warm-up. So just go draw our attention to the warm-up and the workout itself. Cadence wise, I want to be pretty relaxed, but I would like you above about 85 RPM right now. And keep the fluids coming on board. So just try and stay nice and relaxed. If you're new to the sessions, you'll hear me say a lot about drawing your shoulders away from your ears. If you're not really sure what I'm talking about, because I tend to do it when we're at high intensity, when we're not looking at Discord. You just watch me now, I'll show you what you mean. So what I don't mean is pinned like this, with your arms fully straight, bend the elbows, and then just drop the shoulders away from the ears. So what that does is just opens up the chest a little bit, and then the other thing is, get your chin up. Okay, don't compress your airways. You're going to need those as you go into these sort of anaerobic VO2 sets. In about 25 seconds, we're going out to SCP though. Just 10 seconds on, 10 seconds off, but what I really want you to focus on is getting that cadence really high. So, getting it above 100 RPM, basically. Okay, here we go. We're really spinning up, guys. Last couple of seconds. And relax, but keep spinning through, don't stop pedaling. It's only 10 seconds. We've got 5 of these, that's one down. Number 2. Okay, keep spinning. Don't let that cadence drop too much. It's 2 down, 3 to go. Here we go. And relax. Shoulders down, remember? Chin up. And 4. Last 2 seconds. And relax. Okay, last one, really rev it up now. Get that legs to be well above 100 RPM. Okay, and relax. So just 10 seconds spinning up, and then we're gonna go up to tempo for three minutes. So let me just check the power target. I think it's about 80%. Yeah, so up to 80% of FTP. Should feel like a 6 out of 10 effort. So strong, but it shouldn't feel hard. Okay. Cadence wise, let's try and get somewhere close to the 90 RPM mark. You can. and just relax. So about 2.5 minutes of this. Then we really kick it up. It's going to be 20 seconds on, 40 seconds off. Up to around, I think it's 135% of FTP. For 20 seconds on. So we're not really messing around. And then just in the recovery periods, I'll just divulge some more top tips. It's not actually that much time to talk in this session tonight, and I've got quite a long notes. Just try and stay relaxed. What you might find is that your legs are just a little bit heavy after those fast swelling efforts. Don't worry about it. Just the legs, just perhaps sloshing out a little bit of lactate. You might find your chest is a bit tight with the weather getting much colder. I've been struggling with that a little bit. But don't worry about it. Usually takes about half an hour for me at least for my body to sort of engage. Just means sometimes the first set of intervals is a little bit rough. You just got to keep positive. Your legs will come in. Try relax. Just under a minute now, and then we're going to get into it. So it's less than 2 minutes of hard work in each of these micro bursts, okay? Yeah, just double checking my maths. You can probably see me count on my fingers. Not the best when it comes to numbers, I'm afraid. Better with the words and talking nonsense. Right, last few seconds. So rev the legs up a little bit. Get your cadence back up. Here we go. Last 10. Three, 2, 1. Okay, 40 seconds now. Down at 65% of FTP. Excuse me. So get your breath back. Bring the legs back online. Get cadence back up above 80 RPM. Ten. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Get that leg speed right up. Should be a nice high turnover. Possibly over 100 RPM. Okay. Relax. Just at a sort of 4 out of 10 effort right now. Getting ready to go for round 3. Five seconds, we go again. Ready? Here we go. 2 more. Here we go then, guys. Big kick up, pick up. Get that leg speed high. Spin your way through it. 10. 3. And relax, 1 more. Then we've got 4 minutes of pure recovery. Good job, everyone. Last 2 seconds. Then we go again. Oh, missed that one. Here we go. Pay attention, Acres. Last few seconds coming up. 10. 3. And relax. Down now to about 55% of FTP. Proper. Oh, sorry, we've got the 40 seconds at 65%. Jumping ahead. It's actually my first time doing this workout, and I think it's showing. This is one that I pinched off our friends from Pillar. And relax. There we go then, guys. Now you can relax. 55% of SCP. So as I was saying, if you really want to consider investing in your indoor setup, I always hesitate before suggesting spending money on stuff, because, you know, with the way things are in the world at the moment, any kind of mention of spending money, I think, makes all of us a little bit more tense than it used to be. But if you have the budget and you have the space, I would consider a permanent setup, and you can do it pretty cheap. So after COVID, there's so many second-hand bikes kicking around on eBay, etc. Get yourself a cheap frame, you know, super cheap as to be worthless wheels, and just maybe buy a new drivetrain, or at least a new chain rings. I say this because training indoors is, let's be honest, probably not as enjoyable as doing this stuff outside. So you want to make it as comfortable as possible, and with a permanent setup you can. So I've got a permanent setup. This is actually the first bike I ever bought. It's an old LA Sport, and you know, I've jacked up the headset. You know, I'm proper chilled on this bike in terms of my setup. There is no aerodynamics involved at all, and I think it makes a big difference in terms of my willingness to get on the turbo. I'll just leave it at that, because, as I say, I don't really like to suggest spending money on things that perhaps may not be seen as essential at the moment. But it's kind of on a similar topic. A couple of essentials I would say that are very cheap is a sweat catcher, which I don't know if I can show you like this right now. It's this thing I got on my bike. looks like a bit of like a nappy. It's a bit of a sort of mesh that attaches to my seat post and then over the handlebars, just to keep the worst of your sweat off the frame and off the headset. And then I've got a towel over the top of that. And I'd really recommend it, guys, particularly if you don't have a permanent setup and you're taking your training bike on and off, maybe even your race bike. Sweat is super corrosive, and you've probably all seen the videos on GCN, etc., of how sweat's got under the bar tape and corroded through the actual handlebars and get to your headset, corrode the bearings. It's actually pretty minging. So if you spend money on anything for your indoor setup, make sure it's on protecting what's underneath you. Okay, it's about 40 seconds to go till we kick off again. Another thing on the setup is turbo training, and particularly virtual racing. Choose through chains like no business. You know, I spend most of my time on a turbo trainer these days. I can't remember how many chains I went through last year. Racing and training, coaching, it was several. It's because there's no momentum. I'd say your changes, they're heavy changes. Lots of latitudinal torsion going through the chain and stuff. I think that's the right phrase anyway, forgive me if it's not. So yeah, up to tempo for a minute now, just to get some blood back into the legs. So bring your cadence back up to around 90 RPM. So yeah, keep an eye on that chain wear, and particularly when the weather gets better and we start to train outside again a lot more, I really recommend get yourself a new chain. Okay, because worn chains do a lot of damage to the rest of your drive chain, your cassette, your chain rings, etc. Okay, 30 quid for a chain. It's one of the few things on a bike which is relatively cheap, and it's because, you know, they're not particularly durable. Just one last thing quickly before we get to the next VO2 set. Actually, I'll hold off. So get ready, guys. Get ready to really punch it. Here we go. 20 seconds on. Last 2 seconds. And relax. We keep the leg speed up. I've allowed it to drop too much. Just little sips of water. You take bigger sips in the 4-minute recovery. But in between, you don't want to be drinking too much. So I'm talking through the recovery, so I have a chance. Ten seconds. Then we go again. Round 2. Ready? Spin up. Here we go. Last 10. Three. Keep spinning. Liking the look of your avatar, Tony. Here we go. Round 3. Last 2 seconds. Okay, keep spinning through. Allow the power to come off. Okay, gone for the 80s look. No helmet, sunglasses still. Nice. Okay, keep spinning up, guys. That's 3 down already. 2 more. Hopefully you're feeling nice and strong still. It's towards the end of this session where it'll bite. So for now, just do all the, keep up the good habits. So keep your shoulders away from your ears, soften the elbows, chin up, keep your cadence high. And it will matter at the end. Okay, round 4. It's very easy to make this sort of session harder than it needs to be by just being a bit unconcentrated. It's not a word. I don't think that is a word. Okay, keep spinning through. Now the pads come off. It's very tempting just to get eased completely off, but it takes a few seconds if you're on erg mode with a trainer to release the resistance, which then can mean if your cadence drops too low, you struggle to get it going again. Okay, 1 more round. Okay, leg speed up. Get ready for the last round. Here we go. 10. 5. Okay, back down to zone 2. So keep spinning through. Allow the power to come off. 40 seconds, then we recover. "15 seconds, then we can really chill. Bring your cadence back above 80 RPM. And relax. Just noticed a mistake in the workout. It should be 20 seconds off in between the 40-second efforts. That, for some reason, hasn't translated from the workout file. Had to investigate that after session. I mean, it's good news for you guys. You get more recovery. Nobody ever argued about that. So just spinning up. So the last point I wanted to make from the last sort of section of chat about setup. If you don't have a permanent setup and you're packing your bike and turbo away each time, I really learn how to get your back wheel off properly. If you go to the RIAK YouTube channel, we have a video there about how to take your back wheel off. Super patronising, I know, but there is a way to do it without getting your hands dirty, without getting oil on your hands. So yeah, head to the YouTube channel. It's only a short video, but it could save you a lot of stress. Okay. So next sort of topic is about nutrition and hydration, and the score guys, you're going to know, well, for those that have been with us a while, you're going to know exactly what I'm going to say. I always recommend an electrolyte drink for indoor training. So much quicker to get into your system that way. Might not get fully into your system before the end of the session, but just helping to maintain hydration levels. It's also going to help with your recovery, which is important to know. I mean, so you put it this way, if you don't keep up your fluids, you're going to be dehydrated at the end of the session, which means your body would have been working harder, okay? Because your core temperature would have risen beyond what it might have been, and you have to work harder to pump blood around your body, okay? So dehydration means working harder than you should be, okay? And that means you're going to need extra recovery. So it's a really important topic. Really recommend keeping an emergency gel with you. Our goal is always consistency, which means our sessions need to be fueled. So if you've got your pre-fueling wrong, make sure you have a gel there. I do it, actually fairly often in these sessions, to be honest. It's just a bit later than I would like, these sessions, for me personally. And so sometimes I do bonk a little bit, particularly as I'm talking and stuff as well. It's just a very different type of session to when I train on my own. So it can be a bit hard to get my fueling right. So the calories are not going to hurt you guys. I know with cyclists there's always this anxiety about eating while training. Is it going to make me fat? It's not, guys. It's going to be into your muscles so quickly to elicit absolutely zero insulin spike. Okay, it's just fuel, and that's the way you should think about it. Okay, just topping up the fuel tank, making sure your session is as enjoyable as it can be. So take that. If that is any takeaway you take away from tonight, top tip about fuel indoor training is proper hydration, proper fueling. If you get it wrong, make sure you got emergency reserves. And you can actually pre-hydrate as well. So squad guys, head to the members area. There's an article from Precision Hydration in there about that, okay? About pre-hydrating. Really important for racers as well. As we go back up to their tempo, you can pre-hydrate, you can pre-load fluids. And it's kind of what you should want to be doing on a regular basis before sessions like this. In terms of fueling, you want to be eating something with a decent amount of carbs, 2-3 hours before. But if I say you get that wrong, you can leave work late or whatever, something sugary before a session is absolutely fine. Because again, it's not going to affect your insulin levels because it's going to be straight into the muscles as you're working hard. Yeah, and lastly, hydration is an all day thing. It's not something you can kind of save an hour before a session, okay? Particularly if you're working in an air-conditioned environment, keep the fluids going. The last 2 seconds, so it's 40 seconds on at a lower effort, 115% of FTP, but longer. So let's get leg speed up. I want your leg speed up above 90 RPM. $20. $10. Okay, keep the legs running through. Wait for the power to come off. And then keep the leg speed up. Up above 80. So that's round 1 done. That 40 seconds go quick. Okay, ready to go? 2, 1. 115% of FTP should feel like a sort of 8.5, 9 out of 10 effort. $20. Shoulders down, chin up. $10. Okay, roll through. Don't just stop pedaling. Let the power come off. Good job, guys. 3 to go. And then you'll be 3/4 of the way through the session. Okay, here we go. Round 3, guys. Ready, rev it up. Nice high cadence. Once you're up to power, try and relax. Yeah. 20. 10. 3, 2, 1. Roll through. Keep the leg speed up. Wait for the power to come on. And spin up. One way to think about these efforts is if it's like a chain gang. In a chain gang, you can't just park the bus and stop pedaling. As you pull off, you'll be straight out the back. You have to keep pedaling even though you're going a lot easier. Okay, 2 more sets, then we get some more recovery. Here we go, guys. An ultimate effort. Twenty. 10. Keep pedaling through. Oh, definitely starting to feel it now. We're nearly there, guys. One more round of this set. Here we go. Keep the Kents high. Try and relax, 20 seconds. Ten. 3. Keep rolling through, we've got that 40 seconds. That's zone 2 again. Oh. I've worked that. Last few seconds, then down to recovery mode. There we go, down to about 55% of FTP. So let's carry on our chat. Some more kind of general training approach tips. When it comes to maybe doing free rides online or on your turbo, and perhaps not a structured session that I've given you guys, make sure you build your effort. I find it's much easier when you're out on the road to just leave your front door and be straight up to, 60-65% of FTP, whatever it is. On the turbo, maybe you don't agree, but I find it's much harder to kind of hit power straight away. So I really recommend building your effort, starting at something like this, around 55% of FTP, and then steadily building that effort over the first sort of 10-15 minutes. Now the great thing about indoor training is you can do things that you can't do out on the road. Well, you can do spin-ups, but they're, I think, easy to forget about. That's the best way to put it. So when you're on the turbo, make sure you're doing spin-ups. So like that first set of 5 FTP efforts, we did 10 on, 10 off. Keep it really simple, but just what you're looking to do is to lift your default cadence. So you spin up arbitrarily high, so when you relax again, your cadence will come back down to a higher default level. So you're just riding a bit more efficiently. Throw in some accelerations, lift that heart rate, you know, just kind of switch on the anaerobic systems, which even if you're riding easy, they still lend a hand, just to obviously a far lesser extent than they might be right now. If you want to, if you're feeling a bit stiff, particularly in your hamstrings, your lower back, just pause for a second, go do some leg swings, just do some mobility exercises. We talked about earlier, like, the great thing about indoor training is, you know, you're so much under your control. So for me, it's madness that you wouldn't at least try and control your own comfort on the bike. And obviously there's injury prevention benefits as well, just being a bit looser. But yeah, for me, it's just, if you're feeling a bit stiff, warm up, get the joints going, get some blood into the muscles, and then just do some mobility, 3 to 5 minutes. Only a few exercises, but I promise you, it will make you feel so much better when you then get back on the bike. Erg mode, I'm not going to talk too much about it in the squad group, etc. Talks about erg mode at length. Just a little reminder that there is an article in the members area that I wrote on erg mode, the pros and cons when not to use it. In a nutshell though, it's great for long steady state efforts where you want to get the max out of your interval and then max out your stimulus. For me, once you get to VO2 max and above, erg mode starts to diminish in terms of its effectiveness, and particularly when you're anaerobic or sprinting, you don't want it on. You want to be able to track those peak powers, etc. There are some exceptions. For instance, if we do really dynamic anaerobic sets where you'd have no hope of following it with erg mode off, but those exceptions are very few. Okay, and the last thing really is, for my guys, start checking your peak power data before you do any max level efforts. Okay, I'll talk about that a bit more in a minute. Actually, we've got a minute, so I'll talk about it now because we're up to tempo. Yeah, check your peak powers before you do any max level efforts, whether that's CP testing, peak power testing, or whatever, FTP testing. Check before you do it. Training Peaks is a bit rubbish for its power curve. If you go to the dashboard or in the app, it has limited analytics. But if you, for our cyclists, go to Pillar. Go to the Progress tab, the Fitness tab under that. That'll be your peak power curve, your power duration curve. Those are for our triathletes. I've always talked about Golden Cheetah, fantastic free resource. If you haven't heard about that yet, if you're new, then there's a video in the members area all about Golden Cheetah. Okay, final round of efforts, guys. Here we go. Get that cadence high, relax, chin up. We're nearly there. 20. 10. 3. Okay, spin through, remember. Don't ease up too much. Let the power come off. 5. 5 seconds, then we go again. Round 2 coming up. Ready? Here we go. Twenty. 10. Keep the power on. Sorry, keep the cadence up as the power comes off. Whew. 2 down, 3 to go. We're really close now, guys. Just over a minute of hard work. No, 2 minutes. Told you I was cracking maths. Here we go. Round 3. Just 2 more after this, so stay positive. 20. 10. 3. Keep the power, the cadence up. You can always get there. And relax, well done. Just 2 more efforts left, guys. Stay strong. Okay, last 10. Then the penultimate effort. Just 1 more after this one. So let's go strong. Ready? Here we go. Got big effort. Penultimate one. Last 15 seconds. Last 2 seconds. 3, 1. Keep spinning. Let the power come up. We've just got 1 more to do. Come on, guys. Make sure your leg speed is still up. I've relaxed too much. 1 more effort to go. 5 seconds. Come on, guys. Big last push. Ready? Here we go. Twenty. 10. 5. Keep spinning through. 3, 2, 1. Keep the leg speed up. Allow resistance to come off. Well done, guys. Now just keep your cadence up. And your power on for another 30. And then you can really relax. 10 seconds, and the power's going to come right off. There we go. Now to the cool down. About 40-45% of FTP. Just really chill, guys. So one thing I forgot to mention while I was talking about checking your peak powers and stuff, there is of course the CP curve in Training Peaks Virtual. Now that's probably only gonna have your TPV data in it, but as the indoor season goes on, you do more and more training in Training Peaks Virtual, that CP curve will become more and more reliable and be a really good resource. The final topic is an obvious one: recovery. When it comes to indoor training, for me, there is absolutely no excuse for not doing the right thing when it comes to recovery. Okay, sounds a bit harsh. It's one of the few things I think I can be a bit of a stickler about. I get a bit grumpy if athletes don't take it seriously. So first thing is stretching. No excuse for not stretching after an indoor session. Okay, after a turbo set. Training routine, stretch routines are all up in the members area. There's the yoga sessions as well by Charlie Yogi. Okay, if you're pushed for time, even on tonight's session, if you've got to shoot, feel free to scale down the session and leave a bit early so you can get your full stretch routine in. Okay, it's all going to have a knock-on effect to the next session. If you go to the next session stiff and achy, you're less likely to do it, and you're much less likely to enjoy it. And then finally, get a high protein meal on. Get your recovery food on. Okay, doing these types of sessions, we do a fair bit of muscle damage. We ask a lot of your muscles. So let's give them what they need. So some protein and some carbs. Okay, and then of course rehydrate. Okay, one of the things, probably oversharing here, but one of the things I have an issue with after these sessions, just being a little bit later than I would like. That's not criticism, I have no issue, it's just what my routine is. I tend to wake up in the night quite a lot after these sessions, needing the loo, because I try and really take the rehydration seriously. And just on this point, guys, you obviously really want to hydrate, but if you're getting on a bit like I am, and you are waking up in the night and in the loo after these sessions, one kind of rule of thumb is stop the fluids an hour and a half before you go to bed. Okay, so if you go to bed at 10:30, stop drinking fluids at 9. So you've got quite a short window to get your fluids on board after a session, if that's roughly kind of what your lifestyle is like. I'm probably betraying myself a little bit with how boring I am. But there you go then, guys. I hope you kind of enjoyed that. If anyone's got any questions, I'll stick around. Wasn't much opportunity to ask anything in that, so if anyone wants to ask anything, please do shout. No, you're very quiet this evening. Okay. Yeah, very quiet there, guys. All right, well, yeah, get those stretches in. Ignore me. You don't have to talk to me if you want to get your stretching in. Has anyone got any questions? Otherwise, I'll sign off. No? Cool. All right, guys. Well, make sure you bring your questions next time. Hope you have a bit more of a